All right, welcome back for another deep dive.
Always a pleasure.
You guys sent us a real head scratcher this time.
Oh,
A whole stack of articles and notes
how about?
about this guy, Charles Chuck Morgan.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
His story, it all went down in Arizona.
Arizona.
Back in the 70s.
Wow, okay.
And honestly, it's a wild ride.
I bet.
We're talking secret testimonies,
No way.
whispers of mafia ties,
Really?
gold scams, the whole 9 yards.
All right, you've got my attention.
So, yeah, buckle up.
I'm ready.
This deep dive is going to be a twisty one.
I love good mystery.
Oh, it's a doozy.
It's just amazing how ordinary lives,
Yeah.
they can take such unexpected turns.
Absolutely.
What really gets me about Chuck Morgan's story is how that line
Between.
between victim and perpetrator,
Right.
it just starts to blur.
Oh, totally.
From what I've gathered,
Yeah.
he was just your average guy.
You think so?
On the surface, at least.
39 years old,
Okay.
living in Tucson with his wife, Ruth,
Mm-hmm.
and their 4 daughters.
Wow, 4 daughters.
Yep. Steady job as president of Statewide Escrow Service, Inc.
Escrow service. Interesting.
Nothing really screams
Um,
mystery or intrigue,
At first glance, no.
Right. Not at first glance. But then,
Early 1977 hits,
Okay.
and things take a hard left.
ooh, how so?
Chuck starts acting strangely.
What do you mean?
Buying guns, a bulletproof vest,
No kidding.
totally paranoid all the time.
I mean,
And he's keeping all these secretive notes.
no way.
Yeah, nobody knows what's in them.
See, that's what I find so fascinating.
What it is.
It's almost like he knew something was coming,
Uh-huh.
but couldn't, put his finger on it.
I see what you mean.
Do you think he was just imagining things?
I don't know. It's hard to say.
Or was there a real reason to be so paranoid?
Well, shortly after this all starts,
Yeah.
Chuck disappears.
Gone.
Vanishes into thin air. Seriously.
After dropping his daughters off at school.
Talk about a parent's worst nightmare.
Right.
And this is the first disappearance,
Right.
right?
Yes, the first of 2.
It's so strange
It's
that he reappears a few days later
war.
at home in the middle of the night,
Oh, wow.
handcuffed.
Handcuffed.
Yep.
What did he say happened?
He claimed he'd been drugged,
Really?
but refused to involve the police.
Why not?
And get this,
What?
he warned Ruth and the kids they were all in danger.
Oh, my gosh.
I know, right?
That's terrifying.
Seriously.
If someone told me I was in danger,
Yeah.
wouldn't you,
Go straight to the police.
Exactly.
Makes you wonder what he was involved in.
I know, right?
That would warrant such a reaction.
What was he so afraid of?
Exactly.
It's almost like he was more afraid of the police than of whoever took him.
That's the thing.
It's like he was caught between a rock and a hard place.
Oh, totally.
And couldn't trust anybody.
Yeah.
And from here,
What happens?
the mystery just gets deeper.
How so?
Starts confiding in Ruth.
About
All kinds of cryptic stuff.
like what?
Claims he's a federal agent.
Oh, hold on.
Mentions a missing treasury identification.
No, what?
Hints at all these dangerous activities.
Seriously.
But never any specifics.
Wow, so now we're left wondering,
Mike, what?
was he some kind of undercover operative?
Could be.
Or was this just a desperate attempt to explain his behavior?
It's possible.
Were these elaborate lies?
Yeah.
Or was there some truth in his ramblings?
It really makes you think.
It's almost like he wanted to tell Ruth everything, but was bound by some, unspoken rule.
Or fear.
Right? Fear.
It's such a fascinating psychological puzzle.
It really is.
Was he trying to protect his family?
By keeping them in the dark.
Exactly.
Or was he manipulating them with these half-truths?
We may never know.
And then, before we can even unpack all that,
What happens?
he disappears again.
Oh, no. Not again.
This time on June 7th, 1977.
Wow.
This second disappearance really throws a wrench into things.
I bet.
Despite his warnings,
Yeah.
Ruth reports him missing.
Oh, she did.
Yep,
That's a big step.
it is. And then this other bizarre twist comes up.
What is it?
This woman calls Ruth,
Oh, boy.
identifying herself only as Green Eyes.
Green eyes. That's creepy.
I know. She assures Ruth that Chuck's all right.
How does she know?
That's the thing. And she even quotes this specific Bible verse,
Really?
Ecclesiastes 12.1 free.
Wow, what are the chances?
I mean, seriously.
That's a pretty peculiar detail.
It is.
This verse is all about, aging.
Oh, sis.
Yeah, and facing mortality.
Huh. I never thought about it like that.
What could it possibly have to do with a missing man?
That's the question, isn't it?
Who is this Green Eyes?
Exactly.
What's her connection to Chuck?
Right. And get this.
What?
She calls the police, too.
You're kidding.
Nope.
Yeah.
Offers details about Chuck's whereabouts.
During the second disappearance.
But she still won't give her name.
Nope.
Her motivations are just completely shrouded in mystery.
I know, right? Was she trying to help?
Maybe.
Or was she playing some kind of twisted game?
It's hard to say.
It almost feels like she wanted to be noticed.
I see what you mean.
To leave her mark on the investigation.
But without revealing who she really was.
Exactly.
Her involvement just adds another layer of intrigue.
Doesn't it?
To an already puzzling situation.
Absolutely.
What did she know about Chuck's activities?
Right. And why the secrecy?
Unfortunately, those questions remain unanswered.
Yeah.
Things are about to take an even darker turn, though.
Oh no, what happens?
On June 18th, 1977, Chuck's body is found.
Where?
On the Tohono O'odham Reservation.
Oh my gosh.
He had been shot in the head.
This is just awful.
It really is. And the discovery of his body,
Yeah.
it really ramps up the mystery.
I bet.
Investigators found his revolver nearby,
Okay.
along with some cash, and his car, which contained more of those cryptic notes.
Right.
CB radios, a police scanner.
Wow. Even weapons?
Seriously?
And they found plastic handcuffs.
Plastic handcuffs.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
You know, similar to the ones he was wearing
You think so?
after that first disappearance.
It's like we're being given these little breadcrumbs.
I know, right?
These hints that connect the pieces.
But we still can't see the full picture.
Exactly. And then there's this incredibly strange detail.
What's that?
A $2 bill
A $2 bill?
pinned to his underwear.
You're kidding me.
I'm serious. And on it, a list of Spanish surnames.
No way.
Yep, a reference to that same Bible verse.
Ecclesiastes 12.
The one Green Eyes quoted, yeah.
Wow.
And a map pointing to the location of his body.
Come on.
I know.
It's just too much.
Who wrote on that bill?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Seriously. What do the names mean?
Was it a message?
Maybe a clue.
Some desperate attempt at communication. I mean, was this something Chuck himself orchestrated? Or was someone else involved? Trying to send a message.
It's possible.
It's almost too bizarre to be true.
I know, it really is.
The details of this case,
Yeah.
they just get more and more perplexing.
It's like someone took a perfectly ordinary life
Yeah.
and just injected it.
My.
A heavy dose of mystery and intrigue.
It really is a wild story.
I can't wait to see where this goes.
Me neither.
When the authorities got to the scene,
Yeah.
their initial assessment was pretty much like open and shut.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The Pima County Sheriff's Department,
Mm-hmm.
they ruled Chuck's death a suicide.
Oh, wow.
They cited financial troubles.
As a motive.
Yeah, like maybe he was a desperate man.
Drowning in debt.
It
Like,
just snapped.
I see. It kind of fits the narrative, right?
Right, but then
Ah.
you read the medical examiner's report.
Yeah.
Things get a little murky.
How so?
They weren't convinced it was suicide.
No kidding.
Nope. They maintained the cause of death was undetermined,
Huh.
emphasizing the gunshot wound
Yeah.
was to the back of the head.
That's a pretty big discrepancy.
It is, right.
Makes you question the initial investigation.
Totally.
Was there a rush to judgment?
Maybe they overlooked something.
Some crucial evidence.
Yeah, it happens.
And it gets even more complicated.
Oh, how so?
Chuck's wife, Ruth,
Yeah.
and a colleague,
Okay.
they both said Chuck was right-handed.
It's right-handed, okay.
But get this,
Yeah.
the gunshot residue,
Yeah.
it was on his left hand.
Are you serious?
And there's more.
Tell me.
The gun, it didn't have Chuck's fingerprints on it at all.
Oh, wow, that's a huge red flag.
Right. It's hard to square that with a suicide.
Totally, it's like someone wanted it to look like a suicide, but messed up the details.
Exactly. So who had the means and motive to do that?
Well, don't forget,
What?
Chuck's body was found on reservation land.
Oh, right.
So the FBI got involved.
I see, because of jurisdiction.
Exactly.
They took over the case then.
They did, and they started looking into something else, too.
What's that?
That case Chuck had testified in.
Oh, right. The one with potential land fraud.
Yeah, and possible organized crime ties.
That's the case that kind of made him some enemies.
For sure.
Let's talk about that more.
All right.
So Chuck was compelled to testify.
Yeah.
A state banking department investigation.
You okay?
And his testimony, it exposed some illegal activities
Like what?
and potentially implicated some pretty powerful people.
That's not good.
Definitely put a target on his back.
I bet.
They even offered him protection,
Really?
but he turned it down.
Why would he do that?
I know, right?
Yeah.
If you were in that situation,
Yeah,
Wouldn't you want protection?
absolutely. It's like, was he playing some dangerous game?
Try and outsmart someone, maybe?
Or did he just not trust the people offering protection? It's a question that needs an answer,
Definitely.
Was it arrogance?
Or like a misplaced sense of invincibility.
Maybe. Or maybe something more calculated.
We might never know.
And then there's the gold scams.
Oh, right. He was involved in those too.
Possibly. Maybe even with organized crime connections.
Seriously.
Some colleagues said he talked about stolen platinum bars,
Platinum bars.
and he expressed fears for his safety.
Multiple times.
Yeah, it sounds like he was juggling a lot of dangerous secrets.
I know, right? Like exposing corruption,
Yeah.
but also navigating the world of organized crime.
Talk about high stakes.
Seriously. And we can't forget about those notes he kept.
Oh, those notes are a key piece of this whole thing.
They are.
Details about shady land deals, potentially incriminating information about people.
Powerful people.
Exactly.
It was basically a walking liability
For sure.
if you were involved in those dealings.
You'd want him gone.
Right. So was his death a preemptive strike?
To silence him before he could reveal anything.
Exactly.
It's definitely possible.
And maybe that explains why.
Why what?
Despite all the investigations,
Yeah,
his case is still officially closed as a suicide.
that makes sense.
Which brings us to Don Diro,
Who's that?
the investigative journalist
Oh.
featured on Unsolved Mysteries.
Oh, I remember that episode.
He believes Chuck was murdered.
Interesting.
And get this,
What?
Diro claimed that after the episode aired,
Yeah.
a hit was put out on him
A hit? Are you serious?
because of his investigation into Chuck's death.
Wow, that's scary.
Really is.
Diro's claim just adds another layer to this whole thing.
Right.
If it's true, then some powerful forces were involved.
And they were willing to go to great lengths to keep their secrets.
I mean, imagine the kind of information Chuck must have had,
to warrant that kind of response.
even years after his death.
I mean, that's pretty chilling, right?
It is.
To think someone would try to silence a journalist
Yeah.
just for investigating a cold case.
Makes you wonder what else is hidden
I know, right? Like, what other truths are out there?
that people are trying to bury.
We've explored so much already.
We have government secrets, organized crime,
Even conspiracies.
but we still have so many questions.
What about Green Eyes?
Right. What was her role in all this?
Was she a friend?
Maybe a lover,
A pawn in some bigger game?
or something else entirely.
It's one of the most perplexing parts of this whole case.
It really is. She gives information to the police,
But stays totally anonymous.
claims to be Chuck's confidant.
But then her knowledge of his activities seems limited.
So strange, it's hard to say what her motives were.
And then there's the break-ins.
Oh yeah, after Chuck's death.
His car and office were broken into
And his home was ransacked.
by men claiming to be FBI agents.
Do you think those were connected?
I don't know. What do you think?
Maybe someone was searching for those notes.
The ones with all the information.
The key to unlocking this whole mess.
It's definitely possible, especially if those notes.
Could expose powerful people.
Or jeopardize operations.
Yeah, it makes sense they'd try to get him back.
Those break-ins, especially the one with the fake agents.
They suggest a real urgency.
And desperation, like they had to find those documents.
No matter the cost.
This is like something out of a spy novel.
I know, right?
Chuck Morgan, the unassuming escrow agent,
Leading a double life.
caught in a web of deceit and danger.
It's a classic tale.
But the question remains,
What is it?
was he a victim of his own shady dealings?
Or a whistleblower silenced by powerful forces?
Did his information lead to his death?
Or was he just in over his head?
We may never know for sure.
It's frustrating, isn't it?
It is so many unanswered questions.
Chuck Morgan's case really shows us something.
What's that?
The complexities of truth,
The fact that justice isn't always served.
and how power can shield itself from scrutiny.
His story is a cautionary tale.
A glimpse into a world where secrets are deadly.
And searching for the truth can be dangerous. Wow, what a wild ride this has been.
It really has.
What stood out to you the most?
I'm not sure.
Was it the cryptic notes? The mysterious green eyes?
Could be.
That strange $2 bill?
Or the possibility of a cover-up.
It's hard to choose just one thing.
You know, for me,
Yeah,
it's the lack of closure for Chuck's family.
that's heartbreaking.
They're still fighting for
I
answers.
can't imagine what they're going through
It shows the human cost of these mysteries.
and how those in power can get away with things.
It's a reminder that behind every unsolved case,
There are real people hurting.
grappling with grief, unanswered questions.
And a sense of injustice.
It's a powerful reminder.
It is.
You know, maybe someone listening knows something.
That would be incredible.
Maybe they have a piece of information, A memory?
A detail that could help.
Even the smallest thing could be crucial.
Chuck Morgan's story might be cold.
But the search for justice never ends.
That's right. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
And remember, the truth is out there.